Al. Hey, Al, how you doing? Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You sound, I could slightly, it's like,
Yeah, it's on my headset. Hang on a second.
okay.
Can you say something now?
Sorry?
Oh, that's better. Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
It's a little far away.
All right, let me look and see what. Let's see. Microphone. There we go.
Okay. Every time I launch Zoom or Teams with my job, it seems like something different's happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could do a background, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it starts with my muted and no video. Sometimes it starts with video right on. You know, it's just like I never know what to expect.
Yeah, can you hear me now okay?
I can, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's so I ended up getting a new camera because I got a new computer for work. And it works much better. Like it has enough bandwidth and enough computing power.
Uh-huh.
The other one was struggling before, so this one works better. But like you, like it won't let me. There's a microphone built into the webcam I have, but it won't talk to that one. You couldn't hear me at all.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Headset, which I didn't want to have my headset on for tonight.
Right.
And it wanted to redirect me, which is never done before.
Yeah.
To your point, I swear every time it changes. Every time I log in, like, okay, now what's the new thing this time that it's going to do?
Yes. It's very weird. Hi, you, Nina.
Hello.
Let me change this view. I like gallery. Okay, gallery is so much better. So how is everyone? It's been a minute since we met.
Yeah.
And big news for you, Al.
Yeah, kind of surprising and exciting, sad, all those emotions mixed into one.
Yeah, very. It will be so weird to just not have you. I mean, even things to like emceeing the Christmas tree lighting and, you know, like you're just always someone to turn to and always holding up, you know, like if there's a blanket, you know, you're always at one of those four corners holding it up, whatever it is in the village. So one of the corners is going to be flopping around in the wind right now.
I'm sure somebody will pick it up, you know. So, but yeah, yeah, we've been really involved. That's the hard part. You know, we've been involved since we really started volunteering in 2006. I was thinking the other day. So for 15 years, we've been involved in some way. You know, starting with the farmers market. That's where we really started. So yeah, we've had our little fingers in a lot of stuff. So
I always thought you'd be mayor one day.
You know what? People have said that, and I would certainly do it if I didn't have the job I had. You know, as far as the travel and stuff, I've never felt it would be fair to the residents of not being here all the time. So,
right.
But
it's an odd position because it doesn't pay well at all. It doesn't pay really at all. I mean, I think it's 9,000 or 10,000 a year. And so you like, how did Brian do it? You know, like he held on a full-time job.
I know. Well, his employer was, it helped his employer to have connections, within governmental agencies and stuff. So, it was a benefit to his company. It doesn't help my company really for me to be a trustee. So it's really just more of a labor of love for me.
Right.
So, and this will be 8 years for me. So, that I consider that's kind of like two terms, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
So, but yeah, yeah, it is hard, because I think everybody thinks we make 30 or 40,000 as a trustee, and we only make $6,000 a year before taxes. So,
Right. It's just a part-time job that you have to love it to do it. And it sucks that you're leaving during a pandemic because there would be the biggest, I could see gazebo going away party for you, gazebo at the Island Park. There really should be a big fun going away party for you.
I probably I would feel uncomfortable with that. So, because
Really? Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
I feel like, I'm just me, and I feel like I'm like the rest of us. I just feel like we all do our part. You know, maybe I do some more than others, but I just don't feel like, I'm all that great or special. I mean, I'm not down on myself, but I mean, we all did this. We all give what
You
we.
you facilitate a lot though. I mean, you're really there. Like, say, with all these little committees, youth and rec and arts and culture and all, if we guys have to, if we want to start something at 8 a.m. or whatever, well, you're there with the key, opening up, like it's a commitment that you've always gone with the flow of whatever we committees have wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's
been
kind of the
great.
commitment of what the village was about. Was what do we want to do, and that we does not mean what do I want to do. It's what the committee wants to do and drive it and run it. And yeah, it's I mean, we were able to give more because we didn't have kids. So you guys were our kids. The community was our kid, right? Our multiple kids. So
Mhm.
that's the way I looked at it. So you guys all give for your kids and stuff, and you're there. You were on PTA. You've been on Youth and
Mhm.
Rec and Arts and Culture.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
say you guys have given a lot too. So it's not just me. That's why I say if it was open, it was a big to do for me. I would feel uncomfortable. So
But I feel like it's almost because I don't want to I don't want that to come out wrong or anything. I love the village, but it's almost because I have a child that I do it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And here you've really have done it only out of the goodness of your heart. I've done it just to raise my son well and let him see me giving back and make sure the community he's growing up in stays as wonderful as it is. Like I've got an agenda,
exactly.
you
Well,
know.
and I said that to some of the others that I've served with on the board that kind of runs the back end of the farmers market on the financial side of it. And these are, I call them elders of the village. And I said, you guys were mentors to me and encouraged me. So I think we all encourage each other to stand up, show up, and do our part. So yeah, I mean, I have kids, but you know we all I think we all influence each other more than we think we do. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's
And,
been
and
fun.
living here is just so nice. Yeah. I
Yeah,
lived in Vegas for so long. It was just so nice to come back to a really nice little village and
yeah,
seeing all these wonderful things going on and realizing that it's only a handful of people that actually make this stuff happen.
yeah.
Like that really, I really thought there were so many more people on the behind the scenes when before I was a part of putting on the Halloween parade or the Easter egg hunt or any of the little things at Knoll Nature, carving pumpkins. Like there used to be a ton of things, and I did not know there was only a handful of people behind that.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah,
We've been a mighty
yeah.
little village.
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm determined to keep this committee going.
Yeah, I was,
I know it's going through, yeah, it's going through some growing pains now,
yeah,
but I think it's really, really relevant. And I have some ideas of maybe how we can be actionable right now. It just
sure.
seems like some of the things we are thinking of and wanting to do, we just can't do right now.
Yeah, yep.
You know.
And I've been talking to others, so I know there's other people to wrap in. I have a friend who's Cuban American, and I had mentioned to her several months ago. I knew she was going through a lot of the time, and I told her, I said, I'm not pushing you for now. I said, it's here for when you're ready. And I don't know if you guys
Yes.
both know Lynn Schwab or not. She's been active on the co-op and the farmers market, but she has a son that's special needs, and he's independent,
Ah,
but he also is in their home, so they have like an apartment for him, so they have boundaries for him, and
oh, okay.
so I talked to her because what we've all I think said is that this this is really an inclusion for everybody, right? So she's a good
Yeah.
advocate for. So we've got some other people kind of in the fray, if you will, that I've mentioned to. So
Hmm.
they'll step up and become a part as well. So we want to keep
Oh,
it.
that's good.
Yeah. So
'Cause
go ahead.
I was trying to think of a way of more people hearing about more stakeholders being part of the committee.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even though it was posted on the village's website and all when we meet and what we're about, I feel like maybe I'll even start making some Facebook posts for Keaton to put on the Facebook page, but I still don't even know if that's enough. I actually was gonna try to charge, it seems like you've already done a little legwork, Al, but I was gonna try to charge each committee member so far to reach out to at least 3 people that you think are stakeholders in the committee about joining.
Yeah.
Um,
Good idea.
so we can get, yeah. So if, so I guess Yanina tonight, that's just you and I, but I'll include that in the meetings, in the minutes for everybody to see. Just to reach out to 3 people. Kelly is not going to be able to do this. Her husband's, he has his own law firm. He's a real estate lawyer, closings and things like that. His longtime paralegal suddenly died.
Oh,
She it wasn't COVID or anything, but it was a cancer that just went fast,
wow.
and she's passed. And he's just really struggling to keep, it was like they were already overworked and now he's by himself. So Kelly's just pitching in, helping her husband as much as he can. So she's out, you know, for a little while. And then Joanna just can't make it tonight, that she's still on. And I think Nick just can't make it tonight, but I would really like to see more stakeholders, more people who are of any like I was giving this some thought and I'm just like, it's almost like, being anyone who's marginalized, really,
Right.
that's really what this is about. Anybody.
Yep.
So if we could, so I guess, yeah, Nina, you and I, if we could reach out, and then I'll tell other people. And just, I know my sister even wants to do it, but she's busy, and I know that she did fill out an online application, but Keaton couldn't find it or something. That was exactly what I was afraid of, because I'm like, she's so busy. She's gonna do that application once.
Yeah.
She's not gonna do it again. So, but because their business is HVAC. Well, they do ice machine rental and they do a lot of commercial refrigeration. So
Okay.
they've been very well. They're always busy because they work on grocery store freezers and things.
Okay.
So if 7-Eleven has a freezer go down, they'll lose $10,000 of ice cream. You know what I mean? So they never were not busy because of COVID. It's weird what companies weren't busy, or some were, some weren't. But okay, so then I sent out an agenda, which was basically, the same one that went out last time, because I wanted, we really haven't gotten a chance to discuss a lot of that, or either discuss it or bring it to fruition.
So wait, is that in my email then, the
Yes.
agenda?
From earlier today. I wonder if I should just share my screen.
You can do a share screen.
Okay, because I can get it.
Now can I, let me just, I don't mind sharing mine. It's that. Okay, does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same one. And I know one of the main things was going to be our goals discussion of what our we wanted our goals to be. And the first one was the village sensitivity training. And I just feel like it's something that Joanna said, she's did diversity training in the past. Like I said, I feel like we need to get an actual professional consultant in for something like that. We can't kind of ad hoc that or piecemeal that and make it up ourselves. It's really got to be an actual program. And I believe Joanna was going to be looking into that.
Okay. There was Trustee Itu, who I serve with. His wife is she's a counselor with Buffalo City Schools, and there was a contractor the city used that did, I don't remember, it was a diversity sensitivity training program and she said she felt it was really good. So I had that contact information that Matt sent me
Okay,
forward to the committee if you want to reach out to this person, because he
okay,
did and they were interested. So so they could be a contractor. I didn't know if
okay,
Juana had a program and wanted to do it herself, and we use her as a contractor. If she's not really set up for that, then we can certainly reach out to this person who has
okay.
done this for the city as well.
Okay, great. So yes, that would be great, to send that to me. I also, I think it was, I'm in a group on Facebook. It's funny. It's a private group, but it's called Rednecks for Black Lives Matter.
Uh,
And it's a really fun, it's a bunch of people not of color live in the South that were raised a certain way who are speaking out on
Huh.
behalf of Black Lives Matter. And it's a really cool group to be a part of. But they actually shared, it was a PBS program that was actually aired over the summertime. And I hadn't heard of it. And I was surprised that I hadn't heard of it at all, because I love PBS. But I'm just going to go, because I was wondering if it was something that we could show. I wonder if I should bring up my Facebook page and share that. But it's called The History of White People in America. There's 3 episodes. And the first episode is How America Invented Race.
I think I saw that, believe it or not. I think I saw one of those.
Okay.
Because I did a program at where I'm working, because it's good Lord, I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Okay.
2 or 3 of them. I did a program. Well, I did a program called Talking Race. See, when I look at the, I agree and don't necessarily agree with what you're saying about the knowledge or wisdom somebody has to have. I mean, I have training, not necessarily specifically in the terms you're using, but if we're looking for discussion, there are ways to open discussions and ask questions that I bet each and every one of us is capable of doing. And how did I find that? I found that because I wanted to talk race at this apartment building and came up with one of those programs that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be formal training. In a way, that could be kind of boring and dry, like.
No, I think they do creatively, but
Yeah.
the darn truth is about getting together and talking about ourselves. Where did we grow up? What kinds of questions or feelings do you have about race? When did you have African American Black friends in your family? What were people of color called? Did you have Asian? I mean, where did you grow up? What were the attitudes in your family? And there's so many ways you can open conversations just by sitting in a circle.
And now, how do we make that actionable right now during the pandemic? Could we? I've been, in fact, I just was at a personal party that a friend did that had over 20 people on Zoom.
Right. Well, that's how you do it. I guess we put the word out through the village or otherwise. I mean, letting people know who walk in and out of the library, putting something on the bulletin board.
Yeah.
Seeing if people join in. And you mentioned the 3 people, contacting 3 people. Do I know 2 or 3 people in the neighborhood here? I certainly know neighbors here. Will get on? I mean, I could see if they would. Could I even put something out in front of my house? I don't know.
Okay, so maybe let's talk about diversity in Williamsville. That's the title of it. Or let's talk about just something where people, and then describe what it is. Just a chance to, but it needs to be moderated. It needs to be where people
That's right.
Raise their hands, maybe even break out, because even this personal party was a Galentine's party for Valentine's. We broke out into different rooms.
Yes,
and some rooms
yes.
are playing games, and some rooms they were just talking.
Right.
So that could be a way to do it as well. Okay.
And we should, the village board had said that, even us as a committee, we can still meet in person when we feel comfortable, right? Because they're starting to relax some of that. So most of our committees are fairly small. So we as a committee, at the next meeting, you could meet in person if people feel comfortable. And then you can also have the Zoom component for those for the public, right?
Right.
So
right.
True, right.
the committees, the committees will meet in that large room. Yonine, I don't think you've been in Village Hall yet, but Michelle has. So the big room, I think we've met in before. So we can definitely, there's tables, there's plenty of chairs. We can socially distance that area so that everybody feels comfortable. And that's what we've done at the board meetings. There's even dividers as well. So there's ways to work with it while we're still kind of in the interim, you know, of not full on wide open.
Yes.
Right.
Because I agree there. I think Joanna said this, that she felt like she wanted to have these conversations in person, and I agree.
Right.
You know, but
not everybody would want to.
Yeah, but not everybody wants to. So
yeah, I actually just I work for People Inc. and they just took over the they're actually building a new program with Mount Olive. It's Mount Olive Development Corporation, but it's Mount Olive Baptist Church, I think. And they just had a tandem community meeting where there was a Zoom link and you could go in person.
yeah.
So I don't know if they were going to have a big screen up where the Zoom people could be. Like, I guess maybe Keaton would have more, like, know more about how to actually the logistics of that.
Yeah, that's what we do for the board meetings. So we set up front, and then there's a webcam, and then the webcam records us talking. So we would record the committee, and then there's a big screen TV, so that way we can see those who are talking on Zoom. So it does that connection. Yeah. So
very cool.
We can set all that up if we want to.
Okay, I think that might be something to shoot towards, to have, a frank discussion on race in the village. And then that kind of, we don't need to send out, I was really on the fence about a survey, that could just come off the wrong way. We don't really have a ton of emails. Like I said, we only have the emails of people who already have been, part of the village and doing lots of volunteering and stuff. But if we can, like Yonina says, get some flyers up at the library and stuff, we even could end up getting more committee members from
something in the Amherst B. Schedule it ahead enough and see if they'll put it somewhere in the front. Just with simple questions, a small not even an article, but a paragraph or two. Join in, talk race in the village. What do you think? What are your experiences? I'm looking at your goals and your agenda here, and I actually don't understand part of this. You say educate villagers about who and what is different than the average Village of Williamsville resident. Can one of you tell me really? I don't know what that really means. What is it you're really trying to say there?
I'm trying to say, like, the average, I'm going to be completely frank because I'm not white. Your average Williamsville person is and it's even expressed in the demographics, because I finally got the information from Keaton. We have 5,500 residents, and I think like only 5% are of color.
Got it.
So your average, literally, and truly, your average villager is a white person.
All right, so maybe say that, if you'll forgive me, say that. In this, there's nothing wrong with saying that. We're talking race, right?
That's true. That's
so
true.
Here we are, 5% in the village are people of color. Yeah. So how do we integrate? Why is it that way? How do we bring more in? Educate villagers. We're white. When I moved here, I hated that about this place. I'll tell you right now. I came from a tiny court in Maryland, and it was totally diverse. People from all over the world. And I came back here and I said, what have I done?
Yeah.
I was sick. I was like, I'm glad Al is laughing. Sorry. I'm just like, I'm telling it like it is for me. I grew up with diversity.
Yep.
And this is sickening in this village. It better change. I think it is. But let's say it. Don't systemic racism. Put it out there. Don't be afraid. And there will be people
I don't want anyone to feel attacked, and I don't want anyone, because
you'll say it in the right word. People can see it when they walk around.
Right.
The way to wake people up is to wake them up.
Yeah. Right. And not so much that we need to bring anybody else here, but let's hear about the people who are here, and let's make them more apt to volunteer and apt to be present at the things because even all the things we put on for the village is still only the white people. Like,
how can we make everyone feel welcome?
Yes.
How can you be made to feel welcome in this town? What makes you feel welcome?
Yes.
It's a small percentage that are people of color or Asian heritage, probably. We
Yeah.
want everyone to feel welcome. What can we do to make them feel welcome?
Okay, while we're on this subject, can you jot down a few of those questions and email to me as what would be kind of icebreakers and conversation starters for this, event we'd like to have? And I'll, of course, we'll be writing some as well. Because I feel like we'll get all these people together and we have to have a moderator or someone who can start the conversation, to put questions out there, to build on questions that have, been asked and things like that. And Yunina, it sounds like you might be the right person for that, to moderate it.
I was going to say, one of the ideas I think to get people to something, especially as we start to open up more, is the WBA. They have two groups of email lists. They have the businesses, and then they have people who are not necessarily village residents. So the WBA, there's a lot of people who come into the village for restaurants and all that stuff. So my point is we should create an event and maybe even host it at, like, see if there's one of the restaurants, and I'll pick the Irishman because they've got a big room in the back, right?
Okay.
You make it a social and say, let's come talk about diversity, or let's come talk about race, whatever you title it, and let the business community push it out and let them get involved and host it at a place so it's very comfortable and it's a bar restaurant atmosphere, and let's talk. Let's sit down and talk, right?
Yeah.
And push it out and advertise it and get people to come out. And like, Yonina said, we start to build more people by grabbing more people and bringing them into the fray, into the mix.
Right. I mean, I feel like people are still a little afraid to do that, to go out to, like, all be in person at a place.
Right.
But maybe as we move, like, maybe it could be this first one is at the village hall, like you said, where it's kind of, half and half. And because, like, it can't be one and done. We need to keep having the conversation. So the next one, where we're a little further out, more people with the vaccine and stuff, then do a completely in-person thing. Or maybe we'll always have a Zoom element. Who knows how the world's going to go back to normal now. I don't know.
think it is good to always have a Zoom element, because some people may not feel comfortable in that situation to come talk about it, and that's okay.
Right. And then
I was going to say, to Anina's point, I'm like her. Growing up in Atlanta, even back in the day, there's probably 2/3 of my, or it was 1/3 of my classmates were African American. And then when I moved into the city, I lived with blacks, whites, Hispanic, Asians. So I'm used to being around people of all who don't look like me, right? And that's what I was like, I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, when I would go to Wegmans, everybody was white. Everything I did was like, it's different. It's, and that was what always stood out to me. It was like, it just felt too vanilla, just like, we need some diversity.
And it's so funny because it's like, I've always grown up that way, and I've always been the most diverse person I know. I've always grown up. I grew up in Clarence on a horse farm.
Right.
And so I have only ever lived around all whites.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And been the most different looking person I have ever met. But now I love how many, it's like, oh, everybody's mixed. I'm not the only one anymore.
Exactly. I know. Because, I'll be honest, like, I almost feel uncomfortable for when I see African Americans in the village and I feel like they're the only one. And I'm like, I almost want to go over to them and be like a freak and say, okay, you're fine here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I guess I even want them to know that, all of the 5%, I want them to know of each other. I just want them to be more active and to be more, visible and seen, and like this village. And, it's really kind of like part of my bigger yearning to, because I feel like, there'd be less racism if all the achievements of blacks hadn't been so swept under the rug or not talked about. Like, every Black History Month, you hear more and more about everything that blacks really did. And I think if that all wasn't hidden that truth wasn't hidden, if your average white American saw just how much Black and brown people made this country what it is today, I think they wouldn't be seen as not equal. You know, I think it's just been going on for so long. You know, like I read so many things that blow my mind. How, like, you know, even Lewis and Clark had a black slave with them, and he did most of the work for them. You know, how even the North Pole, they say, oh, I forget the guy's name now.
Pierce?
What do you say again?
Piercy, no, not Piercy.
But he,
B, it's a B, I think.
it is a B. But he wasn't actually the first one to go to the North Pole. It was his slave, you know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, so many people have gotten credit for the hard work of others, and it's still happening even in our corporations. And you see, like, you know, Bezos with trillions of dollars, but all of the black and brown people that actually are doing the deliveries for his company and all, you know what I mean? It's just crazy that, I don't know. So I want them to just be seen.
Well, maybe that's how you need to start it. Maybe you need to put a page together of some of those really brief stories of people of color in this country, stories that like that you just shared, that we share, that the unknown, those unknown stories that, you know, they put out on Black History Month, and then we forget because it's not every day of our lives.
Right.
I mean, that's a great way to share.
Yeah, my favorite movie is, and I forget the name of the movie, where the NASA, the ladies that were doing
women,
Hidden Figures.
Yeah,
Hidden Figures. Yes,
I love that movie. I own that movie, and anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm like, oh, let's sit down, we'll watch it, because I think it's an absolutely great story.
Yep.
Yes.
But it's telling stories like that. And I'm so glad that the stories are out. For everybody to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes. And then even, you know, I'd love to even weave in, because, you know, we're supposed to be about all marginalized people.
Right.
You know, how many, I mean, I guess it's just so much more, because I guess you could hide it if you wanted to, but it's just like, how many people were gay who really did something, you know, that made this country what it is? How many people were deaf or, you know, disabled? Like, you know, I mean, like, it would be great to put a pamphlet out there of showing, you know, just how much this country was really built by everybody.
Right.
You know, and only the, no offense, Al, but only the white men took credit for it.
Right. It's true. True.
But
that's why I don't feel comfortable, like you said, doing something. I'm like, it wasn't just me. It really wasn't. It was all of us, you know?
Yeah.
So I just happened to be involved. So.
No, but you did do a lot. You did do a lot here. But yeah, I think if we can start in our own small way with sure, with getting you know, just that dialogue, that conversation started, and people just knowing we're here, this Cultural Conversations Committee, and we're going to make it a thing. We can do this event, you know, where it's half Zoom and half you know, at the Village Hall. We can do something at the Irishman later. We can do then our regular Sundays that are Saturdays for the farmers market. Like that's happening soon. That's only a few months away. And I think we need to have a Cultural Conversations tent, and we will have great coffee.
That's a great idea. Maybe that's how we just need to begin.
Yes. I was going to say, I put in our budget, the village budget. I think we put 500 in there so that we can get something made. You know, like a banner.
Oh, good.
Table skirt, whatever the committee thinks we want to do, so that we can table at it. Because I mentioned that we kind of wanted to do that, and we didn't know the structure of that, but I basically stuck some money in the budget for us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Because I agree. You know, it's like we need to do that. And I mean, maybe the title is "We See You" or "We Want to See You." We don't want you to be a hidden figure. So come out, let us see you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Don't hide. We want to see you. We want to know you. We want you to be
How
involved.
can we?
You know?
How can we see you better?
But we need it manned, you know, no offense to either one of you, but it needs to be manned with, you know, some stakeholders as well, so that the people of color aren't just it's like, oh, this is manned by only white people, and they're gonna are they gonna ask if they can touch my hair or something? You know, I mean, you know what I mean? It's got to be other stakeholders that they will feel comfortable with talking to. I've lived it. I'm just being totally honest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But
honestly say I have never ever done that. God's honest truth. I have never asked to touch anybody's hair. But I've heard that, and I'm like, who does that?
I've had it because I can get my poker straight or I can wear it natural. So
Yeah.
I always get the, I didn't even know you were black until I wear my hair. So it's like, that's why this is so important to me, because it's like, I mean, I think that we're always trying to say the races are, oh, we're all the same. We're all the same. It's like, we're not all the same. We're
Right.
different. That's okay.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
okay to be different.
Yeah.
And to let people feel comfortable and to not judge them or make them, feel less than or marginalized or like their vote doesn't count, because the voter suppression stuff's been almost making my head explode lately. But, so just in my own small way, I wanted to make sure that at least the 5% that live here are going to feel more comfortable. And I don't even know if they don't feel comfortable, but I just think chances are, because I don't see them, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it could even be where I have a feeling that a lot of the 5% are probably of East Indian descent. And so I feel like I don't see people of Indian descent like walking Main Street, looking in the shop windows, whatever. I'll see them because I see quite taking walks around the villages. I've quite a few. We have families from Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India, all here in the apartment complex I live in.
Yep.
But I notice I don't then see them at anything. These same people I see in my neighborhood, I don't see them at anything we throw for the village. So I want them to feel comfortable.
At Youth and Rec, I've seen some Indian families and I've seen some African American families that I didn't know from the village, and they may be in the village. But you know what? The best way to see diversity is in South Lawn Park. I see
Really?
all the time the people that play basketball. It's a good mix of black, white. There's a group of Indian guys that'll go down and play cricket in the park. So I see Asians playing tennis. So that's probably the most diversity I see in our village is that park, let alone because everybody plays together, right? Think about it. So they get up, they play sports together. So it may be a park that maybe the committee visits someday or something,
Because I never go to that park. And I love that you're saying that, because we always go to Garrison Park and there's basketball hoops there and stuff. And I don't see anybody of color ever. And we go to Island Park.
Guys there play, but because I don't go to that one a lot. I have been there because I think we held a meeting there once before. Not that meeting we had, but one of the other ones.
Yeah.
There were kids out there playing. But South Lawn on a regular night, when the weather gets better, take a walk or get on your bike and ride down.
Okay.
You would be surprised at the number of people that are there and the diversity within that park.
Well, that's great to know. And that's where I'll put some flyers up for when we do start having some conversations. Yep. Well, that's good to know.
5%, that's actually the number. Only 5% are people of other than white in the village. That's really sad.
I can actually open
oh gosh,
what was sent to me.
5% of the population, the village population is non-white. Wow, that is really sad. It's taking a lot longer for this place to become diverse.
It is. And and like I said, when I first moved here from Atlanta, I felt that way. And then I gave Buffalo a break because then I started to understand a little bit better about the history of Buffalo, and that your neighborhoods, there were German neighborhoods, there were Irish neighborhoods. And if you look at, and you probably know this as well, Yanina, is that when immigrants would come, especially 100 years ago, you went to church in a neighborhood that spoke your language.
Sure.
So you did stay in the areas to a degree. It had maintained that. There was Polish neighborhoods. I mean, you name it, and it's here, right? And so I thought, well, I guess that's probably the way it is. Whereas everybody from Atlanta, you were basically black or white. That was it, right? And then it became more diverse probably in the mid-90s after the Olympics. We saw a lot more diversity starting to happen in the early 90s throughout the city. But we didn't have the early immigration like Buffalo had in some of the northern cities.
All right. I'm sorry, go on. I'm going to speak after you, please.
Yeah, so I just basically, I chucked it up to that was just the way it was. It's settled by nationalities or by language into neighborhoods, and it stayed that way. And we were just stuck in a German-Irish neighborhood, but it still was uncomfortable. It was strange for me to see, especially coming from the South, where I felt it was fairly segregated, and it is still in certain areas.
Yes.
There's areas that are super white that I won't even go to because they don't even like me. You know what I mean? So just because I'm different, right? You go to North Georgia, and some of the areas are extremely white, and they're, they know you're not from there. You're a city person, and even we're not welcome. They look at you like something's wrong with you.
Wow.
So it's just people. So, but
Yeah.
go ahead, Janina.
I'm going to agree to some degree.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say that I've spoken about this since I came back only 4 years ago, and heard that there were restrictions, that people were discouraged from buying in particular places. And I totally believe it. Out here in Williamsville, Amherst, that there probably were unwritten rules as well as written rules for a long time that you don't sell to a person of color.
Wow.
And that's clearly what I was told when I was, like shocked. And the truth is I could count well in my yearbook, Amherst, there were maybe a dozen people of color.
Yeah.
And here it is, 2021. Oh, come on. You can't tell me people of color don't want to live here someplace.
Right.
In the village. Of course, then it is, okay, then we come to that other thing related to systemic racism. Who's got the money?
Sure.
I'm renting right now. Could I even buy here? Because the taxes? You got to have money. You've got to have the job that's going to be able to afford you the opportunity to move into a place. It's an exclusive place, really.
And you've got to feel comfortable because, like, my sister is a PA.
Okay.
So that's 6 figures right there.
Ah.
And her husband has been working for Ford for 30 years. That's another 6 figures. They live on Langfield, right by the police station, right there, like Langfield and Bailey, and they won't move. And her husband won't.
You're kidding.
She was, of course, raised like I was, but he says he's not comfortable. They have more than enough money to live around here, but they're not comfortable. He's not comfortable.
Wow.
She just respects her, her husband in that way. Not that she's a, dutiful wife. I'm not just, she just knows her husband won't be comfortable. So she doesn't force him to buy where she grew up because she remembers how uncomfortable she felt,
Oh, wow.
back then. My sister's gonna be 50, and she went to Clarence High School.
Oh my gosh.
She said she had one friend,
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so then getting back to like reaching out to the community, that video I was talking about, is there a way that the village can host like I don't even know how it would be done, but I wanted to first preview it myself because I haven't watched it. This what I was telling you about, the history of race in America. It's 3 parts.
Right.
How could the village show that? And would it be something that had to be moderated, like we would take questions after, or could it be something that's just shown? Or, maybe it's shown at the, now we can't with the remember we used to show movies at the meeting hall and all?
Yep.
And it's just a YouTube thing, like anybody, I don't even know if you have to pay to show it. Like,
so you use that as a possibility for an opening. You could have 3 sessions of talking race in Williamsville and have that as the backdrop. Like I get together with a synagogue every so often each month. They show a movie.
Right.
They show a movie and then there's a little bit of talking afterwards.
Animation.
Pardon? What was that?
It's supposed to have great animation and very cool. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. It's supposed to have great animation and be really progressive and hip, So maybe we do it that way where we show it and then talk about it. And that's the icebreaker.
Yep.
And we do 3 sessions.
When you could do
So the village of Williamsville presents America, episode 1, how America invented race. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
And an open discussion afterwards, basically, in the hall to kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
And all ages, you're suggesting the way it was created. And I'm pretty sure that this is what I saw. You might say families, let's get together. not just suggest that it's going to be adults, all ages, like promote it somehow with very simple something. We might want to look at the whole thing, or at least the first one. Like I say, I know I found this one. I'm pretty sure it's what I'm thinking of, because when I did this thing at the Federation Apartments, and go come up with questions. We can look at it together or separately on the YouTube, come up with a series of questions and try to, I mean, I'd be happy to write a little essay or
why don't
article for the Amherst Bee and wherever else it can be posted. I
Al,
guess
we're
doing so.
Al, we're friends on Facebook. I shared it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if you'd be, maybe I'll share it with you.
Can you send it to our email?
Like just to your page, like how would I make it? Say it again?
You can message it to me. Like,
I'm sorry, Eunice?
you can send it through Messenger.
Oh, that's right. Oh, maybe I can message it to you both then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not always on Facebook though.
Okay.
If you've got access to the email, that would be easier for me.
I was going to say too.
Okay, then let me see if I can also.
For any of the movies, sometimes movies, even though it's free on YouTube, they still want rights if you're going to publicly show it in a larger setting.
Oh.
So we'll need to, what we can do is what I was going to say. The town has a license to show movies, and you know how the last couple of years, the movies we've worked with the town. So we can probably use their license.
Yes.
We'll partner with the town, and that'll create an even larger reach. And I think we should invite the town to push it out to more residents, because we're also town residents. And I think to get more people involved into this and create the grow of creating an interest, because I don't think this just serves the village.
No.
I think the village is the center of the town to a degree. So I'm saying use it as bringing people into it, and talk about diversity, but use their license agreement. And then we could also do a movies in the park. Like if you say you want to make a family, do it a movies in the park like we used to do for a kids movie, but make it one of these movies, and the town will come show it. And then everybody's outside. They bring a blanket and a picnic or whatever.
Great idea.
And then we start conversations.
That's a great idea.
You know?
When are you
But
leaving?
we just have to wait till it's warm.
April 6th.
I know.
But I'll start good ideas, and I can still jump on the call. You know, even though I live in Cleveland, I can still be just on the call. It's a public call, right? So, but
then we have to wait till it's warm. But I think that's still a good idea. I think that's the best way to do it, actually.
Yeah. Well, we can do it. I mean, you got to start now to start planning it, right?
Right.
Let's find out the names of the movies. We need to check on the rights. Do we need to have rights to show it to more than, your family? And if so, that's usually okay. Usually you can email them and tell them what you're wanting to do, and they'll give you permission. And then we can have the town show it in a park, and we can schedule that. We've even done movies in Southland Park where I said a lot of diversity gathers anyway. It doesn't have to necessarily be in Island Park. Show it in a place where there may be people already.
Oh, that would be great. But they need parking. They need parking somehow.
And there is parking over there.
A little bit.
There's one right there by the park, and then that overnight parking that the business uses that is kind of free parking afterwards. So.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be like the first movie we've shown in Long Park in a while, and that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Like we're shaking
near the train station, right?
Yeah, right there by the train station.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I walk there and better. Yeah.
We used to go there a lot when I lived on Union in those Franklin Square apartments. You can barely tell that's the name of them because it's all grown over with a bush, but they're called the Franklin Square apartments. And it's just that it's only 3 buildings, and it's right before you go over the hump if you're going south on Union.
Yep.
And Otto, we lived there when he was like 9 months.
Yeah, right.
And I used to walk him all through there, and then we would definitely go do things. That was when the caboose was just kind of this old caboose. You could walk, they hadn't done anything formal with it,
Yeah.
And we'd walk that Lehigh Trail and all. But okay, I think that's a great idea I'm going to preview it. I sent it to you through Messenger. Yonina, I sent it to you through email.
Thank you very much.
And then let's find out what we have to find out to make that a reality. Because I think how perfect if we do it outside. It's even pandemic approved, so. Okay, and then maybe we see how that goes. Try to get some more people on the committee. And from there, maybe we'll have regular. Well, I still want to do the Sundays as soon as the farmers market opens. So I definitely want to have that.
Wait, what, Sundays? What is that? You might have,
Oh, I'm sorry, Saturday morning. I don't know why I'm saying Sunday. Saturday morning farmer's market. Yeah, it definitely, I could see, even if it's just myself or, you know what I mean? But but yeah, whoever on the committee wants to. Okay, and then the other like actionable things, like, I'm trying to make sure we can do things during the pandemic. I thought, and too bad we just missed this chance. Why doesn't the village have Black History Month banners, lamppost banners?
Yeah, we should.
oh,
Absolutely.
shall, ay, ay, ay.
So we will have them next year.
Good.
So how do I get that approved? Because I designed the ones that go up anyways. Like that's the work I did with Deb to the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep.
I did the 75th anniversary for the symphony, and I did the
You're gorgeous.
and I think they didn't use my final design of the 75th one, but it was quite a few of the elements of what I had proposed.
Yep.
But the other one is ones I designed, and I think I could do some great Black History Months. But then I thought even further, what can we do? Pride, can we do a rainbow flag, when it's Pride Month? Like, should we, and then what are the biggest, like the very biggest awareness months? Because we can't do them all. We'd be changing flags every week,
Wait, but Michelle, hold on. Why do you have to wait till next year? Right? So think about, you're creative, obviously, if you're doing these banners, right? Or I can stand with you or sit with you over the phone, come up with an idea where you can represent African American
Everything.
Black history and not have to wait
Right.
till next year. I mean, think of figures for the month, birthdays. You mentioned Lewis and Clark and different historic situations. What kind of historic situation can you come up with that is for May or June or something? I don't remember how often they're changed. If it's seasonal, excuse me.
Well, right now, the ones I did are up most of the year. And they're just kind of a summary thing. We used to have ones for breast cancer. I went for October, but those got too tattered, and they were donated by a radiology company, and Deb just decided not to go with them anymore.
So let's think about it. All right, what about flags? Something about what some African American built, created, wrote, something that can be representative, that you don't have to wait till Black History Month.
What if we have something a design that shows that Williamsville, like you were said that term earlier, we see you, like something where,
oh, what a great idea. And then you could sort of have faces of different colors, or different colors, different hands. The things online where they have,
I do like different color hands, like maybe Williamsville celebrates diversity.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Flag.
There you go.
That's it. That's a great thing to do. And for summertime. And when I say faces, of course, what I really mean are like ovals with different colors, right?
Like a stylized look.
Exactly.
I like the idea of hands almost forming like a pattern.
Yes.
All kinds of different.
Beautiful. Yep.
But so I guess I would work with Keaton, because I've burned my bridges with Deb. I'm not going to be able to like speak with her about it, but I'm sure I can go through Keaton to get something like that approved.
Well, is there some way I can help, since I haven't been a part of it? I don't have to be part of it, but if I don't burn any more bridges, right? I mean,
if either one of you want to get that proposed, I don't know where it needs to get proposed. I know she needs to approve it, but
we have a board meeting next Monday, so we put this in our budget. The 500. I don't think it's going to take that to do a table.
Table banner, no, but for the lamppost banners, that was the other thing. Those, it ended up costing, because there's 38 banners.
Right.
They're for every lamppost from Young's to like Union.
Whoa.
And it's like $2,000 for that.
Okay.
So do we
but maybe we just do it in the center of town, like where the village, where the library is.
Right. 38, maybe just do the dozen or so in the core.
Exactly. Yes. And we just take down the other ones I've done, and every other lamppost for like just within that, Main Street area, with the, like you're saying, the library and everything, we'll have some of those flags. Okay, and that is a very affordable way to do it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so
Wait, Al, if you're gonna be there, does that mean you might bring the idea? Or how does that, like, I
I'm
just,
gonna float it. Basically, what we do as a board, so since I'm your liaison, at least for one more meeting, I'll take that back to the meeting. So we bring it back of what we need.
perfect,
The board discusses is, hey, I think it's a great idea. Yes, let's do it.
right.
So yeah, so I don't think it's going to be an issue, but it'll be more of an issue of really the funds. So,
Right.
okay,
right,
because we don't really have anything until June.
right.
But that's fine because, all right, so this, and I think being truly actionable come May 31st, when I think the farmer's market opens or whatever that Saturday is. So we'll start being there on Sundays. We'll get a movie shown over the summer and we'll get some banners up in the main part of the main drag.
That would be super. And that's one way to begin. And we know people see. It
Yes.
doesn't always register, but they're going to see it. You know, I mean, I think before I knew, of course, you had done these, Michelle, I wrote somebody, or maybe you had gotten it, but the symphony ones, you know, they were just something else too. They're just awesome. So
Okay.
the colored hands, let's see though, colored hands or faces.
I like the hands because I've seen something like that. I like the hands, but it's not really for me to decide. I just,
And different sizes.
yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, it's like, it makes it visual and we lead by example, right? So let's set the example and make it the norm, make it the standard, right?
And of course, I'm sure you've seen some either people holding hands or something like a peace symbol or something that's common, a sunflower, maybe, something that they're all holding on to.
Yeah.
Maybe
What I did for the banners that got approved was I showed 3 different options. So I'll show 3 options because I do think all the trustees need to look at it first. Our committee needs to look at it, then the board needs to look at it, and then it gets approved.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, all right.
Basically the board user kind of leaves it to you guys. So as long as something's not offensive, which I can't see you making something offensive. It's the same way for the mural. We basically, for that, I'm liaison to the beautification committee and they put all that together. And I told them, I said, all we need to see is that there's nothing offensive in it, right? We don't really want to dictate what the committee does. That's why you're there, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, why have a committee? Let us just decide what we want to do,
Yeah.
but that's not the way it should be.
Yeah, and then, but even so, with this diversity one, I think come February, I still think there should be 38 Black History Month ones.
Yeah.
And then we also want to think about getting a Pride one done.
Yeah.
Just having 12 rainbow flags fly for a little while also, and whatever else. Oh, Deaf Awareness Month is March. That's or is it April? Actually, it's April 5th. It's March 15th to April 15th is Deaf Awareness Month. But I don't think that's enough time. But I mean, we probably want to, those kind of banners are really visible. And that might be something that the Cultural Conversations Committee wants to put some money into, making sure we've got some banners to switch out for really high profile, necessary awareness months.
Sure. Yep.
And breast cancer not being one of them, because that's just not what our committee is about.
No, it's not.
Really
not
important.
at all.
Because I know people might say, well, we used to have breast cancer ones, can we get those back up? But I think
did they show any diversity in that, or was it just this pink?
It was just the pink things, yeah. So yeah. All right, so then I want to try to end, only take an hour of everybody's time.
Thank you.
But let me just go back to our
before I forget, just so that it's on your radar, there is a Muslim group that has it's going to do they've requested to rent the island, and it's going to be like a small, I think it's the Eid, I forget there's a summertime something in August that they celebrate in their community.
Yes, Eid, yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to do something in the village, I think on Island Park, which there's going to be food and stuff. So
really,
yeah, it's going to be really.
What is this group, Al? I'm sorry. What is it?
It's a Muslim community of Western New York.
Oh, Muslim. Yes.
It's the Eid Alan, or I forget what it is, but it's the one, their holiday that falls in. I think,
it's like Christmas, right after Ramadan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do a celebration. They want to rent the park and Island Park and do an all island rental. and it'll be a lot of good diversity. It's going to be very cultural up there.
Beautiful.
Community.
Now, will others be welcome? Will other people?
Yes.
And
It's
can we have a
beautiful.
table? Can our,
That's the reason I'm telling you this, is that
Sure.
stay close to the ground on this, and let's get you connected on that, because I want us to be a part of it, or would like for the group to be a
Sure.
part of it, because this is exactly what I'm talking about.
That's
exactly.
Because like
And-
we said before, 9 times out of 10, people's racial fears of anything, it's usually just you're ignorant. You're just-
Unknown, that's right.
don't
Lack
know.
of education, yep.
Mhm.
So it's just exposure, right? And
That's
having-
right. That's
So-
right.
so
And it goes both ways, because it can also be where you're the person of color and you don't go out and intermingle because you think they won't accept.
That's right.
yeah, we all make
both-
assumptions,
both
right?
Yeah. And would you know what day that's going to be? Well, we're still hearing about it, or?
It should be on the website. I'll look and see.
Oh, okay. No, I'll look on the website for that. Okay.
It may not be up, but it'll be in our agenda packet. If you go on the agendas from the village board meeting of this past
Okay.
Monday.
Yeah, all this stuff. I'm supposed to have posted the agenda and stuff. I had no idea. I'm like, where was I supposed to learn this stuff? So hopefully he'll get me some kind of
Isn't there a
paperwork.
guideline, Al? Michelle?
Not that I've personally ever
booklet?
received or knew
No,
about.
government isn't really good at that stuff sometimes until you realize it's not done right. So, yeah, usually they're supposed to be submitted before, so that way it has to do with the laws of New York, with open public meetings law, that we're not
Yeah.
hiding something from people, and that
Ah,
public is always welcome, and that's why
Okay.
these are recorded, so that way the public can see it if they don't, couldn't make the meeting. So it's
Okay.
part of what we're required by state law.
okay. Okay.
So
Okay, so then the sensitivity training we're gonna do in by way of that video series, once we research it, and hopefully we can. I think facilitating a welcoming atmosphere, we're doing that being at the farmers market, and the lamppost banners, and then educating villagers about who and what is different than the average. I think we probably can even strike that, because I think the other things we're doing, like I said, we just want people to know that there are people of color in the village, and those other things that we're doing will be able to speak to that.
right.
And so, yeah, I was thinking about a welcome brochure, and then I kind of got off track with that, because I realized, when I got the true numbers, like there aren't a lot.
What kind of diversity?
So they're really, it's not anything I want to bring
It's not
attention
funny,
to, that
actually.
we're proud to have 5%. Like, that's not much. So we'll just
That's-
not talk
That's
about that.
horrible.
I
Wow.
don't
We'll come
think
up with ideas, even if it's just 5%. We'll figure something out.
I don't, so the sensitivity seminar was already mentioned above. I'm down in that second part down under how do we do this?
Mhm.
The survey, I also am going to strike. I don't think we need it.
No,
We
I
need
agree.
to get, we
I
need to,
think that'll actually create more problems.
yeah,
But
'Cause it'll be, I could see so many ways it could go wrong.
right. Now, we could come up with questions for having a tent, right? We can do something simple related to, like, I've come up with a bunch of questions. I'll send them to you. Well, only some questions, but I'm sure brainstorming, we could come up with very simple ones, just to get some answers from people that aren't exactly a survey, but could serve as that under the tent.
Yes, and we'll need to advertise. That's right. I was going to do some Facebook posts for Keaton. We'll need to advertise that we're even going to be at the farmers market,
Mm-hmm.
and just let that be like a post, and just see, maybe I can make some flyers just to get people, because what do you think, Al? Is the farmers market largely white? The patrons?
I would think so. You've worked it enough. I mean,
Yeah, well, actually, that's what's so funny, because I've been doing either give me a second, the composting.
Yep.
Or occasionally the co-op.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Sashti is Indian.
Yep.
And so there are this is the other thing I was thinking of, somehow joining with a high school or junior high or elementary school regarding this, because students could be a part of this. So Sashti has gotten kids, young people to help work. But yes, you are right, Michelle. It is primarily white, but there is diversity, but not a lot. Probably on the realm of who lives in the village. People are definitely coming from outside, but when I think about it, it is primarily Anglo.
Yeah.
And maybe even we could possibly, even if they could, you know, see that we're a thing, it might even draw more vendors that are.
It's true.
BIPOC is that new acronym being used, BIPOC, Black Indigenous People. So the Black, Indigenous People of Color, BIPOC.
Right.
I just kind of learned that. I haven't been using that myself, but it's the new buzzword, I guess. And so it could have more BIPOC vendors, because I mean, I would love like some Indian spices or something. Like I would buy cardamom like in a minute. I'd love to make real chai at home. And all of the vendors are usually just Anglo.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to. But I went to Amherst. Elizabeth D'Agostino.
Yep.
She helped to organize that. I only went to one. I think one was canceled on that very windy day, but there was one at the Niagara Heritage Museum, and
Yep.
it was like a farmer's market, and
Yep.
there were some different things that we do not have at our farmer's market.
There's an Indian shop right down here in Evans.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they.
Oh yes, that's across the street from where I live, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Their food's really good too, by the way.
So
Yes,
maybe Michelle, if you ever go in there, ask if they have not a booth even, but if they'd have any interest in coming to the farmers market
on Saturday. Okay, yeah, because that would be great. That'd be a nice result. If we got a couple of some different vendors out of that. But okay, so I think with those three things, they're really doable. We have to wait a little bit till it's warm, but at least by the next time we meet, and Al, this is your last meeting with us, right? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad. So I guess let me know after you present getting those banners, and we won't do that till we have the money, because that will cost a little bit to even get 12 of them. And then for the farmers market, you were saying like a tablecloth or something, or?
Well, I didn't know what we wanted to buy for the table.
Yeah, I'm not
Kind of
sure.
like a drape over the table, or do you do a pop-up banner that you put in front of the tent, kind of like the co-op has, Jonina, on that one end? So it depends on what you feel like you want.
something with a name, I think. Of course, the name Cultural Diversity Committee or something, Williamsville Diversity and Inclusion or something. Yeah, we don't have to decide that this moment though.
No,
but
but
I hear
we're cultural conversations now.
excuse me. So wait a second though, because not only that, hold on a second. The banner thing. We don't have cultural conversations. Why? Oh, there we go. Why? Wouldn't the village be the one to pay for those banners? I mean, that can't come out of the $500.
It was supposed, when I did the other ones that are existing now, it was supposed to come out of the Arts and Culture Committee, but Deb found the money elsewhere and didn't take it from Arts and Culture.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like it shouldn't be only this committee either.
No way.
But I don't know.
No. Diversity is not just about this committee. Diversity is showing Williamsville.
Well, that was
crazy. No, I agree. That's not just about this committee.
However, when I first heard about this committee, that's what I said, that it should be a part of every committee. But it's not a perfect world.
It's not diversity is not, though, putting those hands that are diverse is not just about this committee. It's about making Williamsville a welcoming, inclusive place. That's not just this cultural conversations committee.
I agree. I do agree. I just don't know if
everything gets budgeted as far as the line. Everything has to have a line in the
I understand.
So it just needs to be added to a line.
Right? Got it.
So it could be that we increase it. It just needs to be stuck somewhere, whether it's in arts and culture or culture conversations line. It has to get appropriated somewhere.
I got it. Okay.
Because arts and culture doesn't exist anymore that I know of, because I am not part of that anymore, and I
Yeah.
don't think anybody took it up. But I do feel like it should be something the village should pay for, but I think we'll have a bigger fight in making it happen, and that maybe we should just do it out of our own budget.
No,
Well, no,
no, it's got to be out of a committee budget that's bigger than this one, Michelle. It's bigger than this.
But we have actually 2,500. The extra 500 was just to get something done for the farmer's market table, right, Al?
yeah. So I wasn't sure what to put in, so I asked for 500 for sure because I didn't know what we wanted to do this coming fiscal year, right? And so we're trying to stay under the tax cap. So it could be that it could be increased without throwing us over the tax cap. So it's not a finalized budget.
So it's only 500, or is it the 2,500 plus 500?
It's only 500 for now.
Oh, because I thought most committees got 2,500 to start with.
No, it's not a standard. So some committees like environmental, they'll get a couple of hundred because they don't really, there's nothing that they have to necessarily pay for. So we've always given them some to do Earth Day. Youth and Rec, they've always gotten 3,000 because of all the events they do or whatever it is. So it's really based on need and not really a standard.
Well, when Deb and I were buddies and she wanted me to chair that arts and culture, it got $2,500.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't use it this year, then it could be in this fiscal year, that 2,500, if it hasn't.
I think it should be given to cultural conversations.
Well, especially for this, absolutely. If it's not going to be used and it was already appropriated, then it should be moved over to this committee.
Huh.
Yeah.
Make a note to inquire.
Yeah. That'd be good to find out. Because I was working on the assumption that we had about 2,500 where we could get something for the farmers
No,
market.
and I had to admit, I heard 500 and I said, no way, when you said how many thousands these things cost.
And then like 12 banners, and then I feel like the movie, well, we're going to look into that to see how much that, because it's not a motion picture. So I don't think they'll have to do that $350 font fee,
They may not, but we may still, as a municipality, have to just ask permission because we're going to be showing it in a different way. Because there are some movies that I know that are free to watch, but when you go showing it to hundreds,
right,
they have to give you permission. And 9 times out of 10 they will, but you're just supposed to ask.
So yeah, let's all preview it, and then let's just stay in touch, with email and text about, what we want to, if we want to pursue it, and then what we're going to do. And then Al, you can get back to us about, presenting, can we do banners or lamppost banners? Who's going to pay for it?
Right.
We'll try to think of if we want to do just like a swag kind of thing for the table, the farmer's market, or a pull-up banner.
Yep.
And
Think wind. Think wind. What will be the best in the wind?
Right.
Yeah, table banner.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I think it was those 3 main things with a couple of other, satellite things off of them. But those are the main things. The race video, farmer's market, and lamppost banners. And so I will I'll write up minutes with all of this.
Okay.
I'll actually try to do that tomorrow because we talked about a lot and I want everybody to know about it.
And I'll share with you, I'll send along my notes, which are not any official organized, but maybe if you haven't gotten, maybe it'll trigger some things.
Okay, thank you. And then if we could, Al, I think you already have reached out, but I'll let everybody know to reach out to 3 stakeholders.
Yep.
And not stakeholder only that you own a business in Williamsville, but that
Right.
you are of some kind of marginalized person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah. So
I'll check with Judy tomorrow as far as funding and stuff, and then that way I'll have something to present to the board next Monday.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the 22nd. I think that's my last, not next week. So I've got some time to look at monies and see what's where.
Wonderful.
And your house is all sold?
We're sold, inspected, just waiting for the official stuff to happen. So.
And you bought a new one already, or?
Yeah, we did that before we actually sold our current house.
Oh, wow.
So my wife also wanted to be close to her sister if we were going to move. And so
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
away from her sister. So the house came up, she loved it, and it was in our
Wow.
price range, and so everything just kind of happened and fell in place. It was one of
Yeah.
those things where it was meant to be, sadly enough. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's so funny because we all go through stages of our life that we think are never going to change, that you've
Yep.
been in it so long and you can't remember how life was before it,
Yep.
but then it does change. And then that becomes what you do for real. Like I remember when it seems like I've been a mother forever now, but
Yeah.
I didn't become a mother till I was 40, and I lived a whole long life without being a mom, but now I feel like I've been a mom, so it's like as things, you go on to another chapter.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So new chapter.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we're 3 hours down the road, and we still have two brother-in-laws in the village. So when we come in town, we know we'll be staying in the village.
And brother-in-laws of her brother-in-law.
Yeah,
So
her,
all
yeah.
your family is in Atlanta, or?
Yeah, my family's still in Atlanta. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. My boyfriend is there now. He's staying at the Buckhead Icon or something like that. He's
Yeah.
doing a couple weeks he's a lawyer, he's doing a couple of weeks down there. He keeps sending me all these videos. Like it's just so different from Buffalo. And
Yeah.
he's like, he can't believe like the opulence,
Well, especially if he's in Buckhead. Buckhead is very opulent.
Yes.
Very high end. So.
I'm like, you're showing that, you're embarrassing yourself, that you're so excited. He's 56. It's like, but he used to actually live in Atlanta, but he said it's changed a lot since when he lived there like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I gotta go. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I'll get the minutes out tomorrow, and thanks for all the great ideas.
Sounds good. See you guys. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.